It's probably the wrong time of year to watch it. So I tell you what, this is my promise to you. I will watch and review the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre when we come to Halloween this year. Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But before we go any further, could you please be a dear, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, it really does make all the difference to this channel and we thank you if you do. So let's get into what I liked about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie has a tone, and that tone punches you in the face from the get-go. And that tone is death. It's going to be dark, it's going to be gruesome, and chances are, if it's alive, it's soon going to be dead. And you get that within the first 5 minutes of the film. I really enjoyed the sound design here as well. It's so minimalistic and simplistic, but the application of it is so unsettling. They really know when to amp up the sound and when to just drop down to silence and let you sit in that uncomfortable moment. And it's not the only thing that gives off that unsettling vibe. The townsfolk are unsettling. The hitchhiker at the beginning is unsettling. It's wonderfully crafted, and it's so damn eerie and unsettling, and it already has you squirming in your seat before you've even seen a chainsaw. And where I think so many of the sequels have gone wrong is that they don't build up to the moment in the same way as the original does. This original movie feels like a guitar string tightening and tightening and tightening, and eventually it snaps and chaos unfolds. Whereas the sequels, you don't get the tightening of the string. It just seems to snap immediately and the people are here to be killed. Which just goes to show a small amount of care and setup really does go a long way. And credit to the movie, this is a scary and intense film, and I love the subtlety of its revelations to the audience. Like your first real introduction to Leatherface and his house. All of it is ghastly and bizarre, none of it's explained, but you are sat there thinking, what the hell has this guy been getting up to? And it lets your imagination run away with itself, which ultimately is always going to be scarier than whatever the film is telling you he's getting up to. And it's all so gradual. Firstly, you see him, and that's quite shocking and scary on its own. Then you see his house, his lair, what sort of environment he lives in. Then you see the gruesome ways in which he kills them all. And finally, you get to meet his family as well. It's all gradual and layered upon each other to build this villain up. And it's so intriguing and fascinating to watch. And getting back to those scares and how intense this movie is, the chase in the forest is a real heart-raiser. The first 2 kills in the movie are genuinely jaw-dropping and hugely intense to watch. The iconic dinner scene, it's skin-crawling. This film has no budget whatsoever, and yet it manages to evoke all of the right emotions out of its audience. And it's all down to clever craftsmanship and wonderful editing, really. That and a huge commitment from the team and the actors to really bring this to life, which I think they absolutely did. Somehow, in being so damn dirt cheap, it actually makes the film feel even more real. You, as an audience member, put yourself in the position of these people, and there are times where you'll think, yeah, I'd give up now. I would just accept my death, because it gets under your skin that much. I've always found this aspect of Texas Chainsaw Massacre quite fascinating, because I don't know if it was intended, but it certainly comes across this way, and I wonder if this messaging has actually been figured out more after the fact than actually intentional. And that would be the meat messaging, that these people that are being slaughtered by Leatherface are actually just a metaphor for cows on a conveyor belt being sent to their slaughter. But again, it's very subtly done, and it is quite blink and you'll miss it. But it's just these very clever moments of dialogue between the characters that are discussing these themes, or very intrusive cutaways to a field of cows randomly. That super iconic and famous dolly shot that comes underneath the swing as the girl's walking towards the house. I think you can literally translate the camera's movement acting like a conveyor belt as the woman is pushed ever closer to her demise. It is there, but like I say, if you're not looking for it, you won't see it. I also love the ending to this movie. It is so damn intense in all the right ways. The setting is wonderful with the sunrise in the background and the real orange hue on the screen. The frenzied panic laugh feels so maniacal and real. The wild swinging of the chainsaw with the hard cut to black and complete drop out of audio. I found myself just sat in my chair looking at the screen like, this movie is fucking wild. And I love it for that. You're just left with your own racing heartbeat in an utterly freezing cold silence. And it's just the perfect way to end the film. But despite my praise, I do have a few complaints. And the big one really is the characters. They're just not that interesting, to be brutally honest. They're quite forgettable. And the ones that you do remember, they're actually quite annoying. People like Franklin, the guy in the wheelchair, he just moans. He just complains about the whole thing. And his own sister doesn't even really stop to think about him at any time, so you don't even really like his sister either. And had they just put a little bit more care into those moments, maybe show Sally looking after Franklin here and there, and Franklin being appreciative of her help and realising he is a bit of a setback here for them all, but he's going to chip in and do what he can, you would have cared about these characters much more than you do, and it would have had a stronger impact when they do meet their demise. I also find this movie to have a few unintentionally funny moments. And the two scenes that have always managed to just get a laugh out of me, and I don't know why, is when Sally is attacked by the policeman with the broom. It just never looked real to me. Apparently she actually got hurt in that scene when I did some behind the scenes research on the movie, but I really do find that hard to believe because it looks so weak and flimsy. I'm like, how did you get hurt by that? It looks like someone's wafting you rather than hitting you. And the other scene that kills me is Grandpa trying to get the final kill. They stick Sally's head over a bucket and they give the old wretched man a hammer, and he's gonna hit the hammer on the girl's head to kill her off. But he's like 200 years old if you're looking at him. It's incredible that the man can still move without completely disintegrating. But it's hilarious watching him fail to hit her with this hammer, and it keeps on falling in the bucket, or it keeps falling out of his hand, and Leatherface keeps picking it up and putting it back in his hand and sort of going, come on boss, you got this. And there's just one moment where the grandpa misses, and even the grandpa sort of pulls her face like, oh for fuck's sake, Leatherface, could you just do this? It's a matter of pride and dignity at this point. So I'm going to give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre an 11 out of 10, and it becomes the latest inductee into the IMO Hall of Fame. I really had to sit and think about the score for this movie, because I was going to give it a 10 out of 10, but when you think about the longevity of the movie, how it's over 40 years old, still super effective, still genuinely terrifying at times, still feels like the staple of slasher movies, or at least one of them. The more I thought about it, the more I realised that 10 deserved to be an 11 because of how much it changed the game in horror. This movie is a nightmare in all of the right ways. It's haunting, it has real staying power, and it infects your mind and gets under your skin. But that is exactly what you want around this time of year. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And please do hit the comment section as well. Have you seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.